Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Gazelle, the online marketplace for buying and selling used gadgets. Shop from a variety of certified pre-owned electronics or trade one in for cash. Give a new life to a used device. Visit Gazelle.com today. And by Braintree. Even the best mobile app won't work without the right payments API. That's where the Braintree V.0 SDK comes in. One amazingly simple integration gives you every way to pay. Try out the sandbox and see for yourself at BraintreePayments.com/Android. And by Lynda.com, the online learning platform with over 3,000 on-demand video courses to help you strengthen your business, technology, and creative skills. For a free 10-day trial, visit lynda.com/allaboutandroid. That's LYNDA.com/allaboutandroid. Hello and welcome to another episode of All About Android. This is episode 242, recorded on Tuesday, December 1st, 2015. We're your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
I'm Ron Richards.
And I'm Gina Trapani.
Yeah.
Gina's back.
Welcome back, Gina.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. Anytime we can get you on the show. Everybody loves you. It's so great to have you on the show.
And
Thank you.
the combination of Flo being out this week and Gina coming on just adds to the feud storyline that I'm going to be introducing in 2016. That Gina and Flo do not get along, and this is just laying the groundwork. So,
interesting.
yeah, this is what happens when you miss the show, Flo, so get used to it.
All those nice tweets, it's all
Yep, it's all up front. It's all up front.
Can't stand one
Anybody
another.
who watches...
I can't be on when she's on. Forget it.
Yeah, exactly. See, there's stipulations in your contract. It's all... Anybody who watches wrestling knows where we're going with this.
If only you hadn't already been on with Flo, we could have the storyline be maybe they're the same person.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Do you know?
We blew that one.
Yeah, we blew that one.
Yeah, that's
not going to happen.
That window closed.
All right. We are thrilled to welcome back Matteo Doni, keeper of the goats. How's it going?
Very well, thanks. Thanks for having me back on the show.
Maybe that's a horrible title for you. I'm sorry.
Keeper of the goats.
Well, Matteo has a thing. He comes on the show. He brings the goats with him.
I had to mentally prepare for goats on the horizon. So we will see what happens as the episode continues. But wherever Matteo is, goats aren't far behind.
They aren't far behind. Exactly. Actually, it's probably best to plug coolsmartphone.com. Yeah. That's probably the thing that you would like me to say when introducing you for obvious reasons.
Thank you. Yes, obviously we have to thank Brian and Jason for making goats a trend, thanks to Spider Goat in the last episode I was on.
Jeez.
We're going to ride this thing to the bitter end, aren't we?
That goat had very similar markings to my cat, which is cats are another thing the internet's good at.
That's a different show, Matteo. That isn't all about Android. I'm allergic to cats, so let's not go there.
I'm allergic to goats.
Well, there we go. See, I guess we got to find something else to latch onto. Coolsmartphone.com. So you've been doing this for a couple of months now. When did coolsmartphone.com launch, and what's it all about?
So coolsmartphone.com launched long before the days of Androids.
Okay.
It was a website started by the owner and founder Lee Geary, who's Gears on Twitter. He started off doing pieces on what used to be the first generation of Windows Mobile and SPV devices. That then turned into an all-round consumer electronics, smart cross-platform smartphone blog, which, as well as having a very catchy URL, it's a good website. It's a good crew of people who do this, have a passion for consumer electronics and mobile technologies, and they really, really enjoy reviewing things and relaying the news, sometimes getting some inside scoops. So I've been writing for Cool Smartphones since this summer, and my official title is Chief Pixel Density Enthusiast.
Okay.
All right.
So I just turn up at events and talk geekily about things.
And analyze
So-
pixel density.
Yes, I enthuse in the density of pixels.
I just learned something from coolsmartphone.com. Danny Key has an article from earlier today, it looks like, that says that Christmas tree lights can slow down your Wi-Fi.
Indeed.
I had no idea.
Interesting.
I had no idea about that. That's kind of blowing my mind. Is it
So Ofcom, the regulator in the UK, is releasing an app which will allow you to identify if LED lights, such as the ones I have up here, actually slow down your Wi-Fi. It's something to do with the frequency at which the LED bulbs operate, and the power creates a certain amount of interference. So it might be something, if your Wi-Fi is slow this Christmas, it might be something to do with your Christmas tree or the neighbor's. So if you're
Fascinating.
if your neighbor is something like the National Lampoon's Chevy Chase character,
Griswold?
blame
Yeah.
him.
Wow. I had no idea, but this year in our house, like all of our Christmas lights are LED. So I'd install this app, except it says that none of my devices are compatible with it.
Yeah, me neither.
That's
You might
odd.
save you might save some electricity, but you might not save time in downloading your favorite podcasts, such as All About Android.
That's right. The only podcast that exists.
smooth.
I know.
Smooth operator,
We
Mateo.
need to have him on more often. But at least while you're waiting for all that stuff to load, you can look at your pretty lights.
Right, or you need your Wi-Fi to keep track of Santa, though, right?
That's true.
Right.
Google's Santa Tracker, before we kind of get things started here, Google Santa Tracker is live. And the site actually is pretty awesome. It was rebuilt with Polymer 1.0, which is kind of Google's take on web development and new kind of web
Frameworks
standards and framework for developing very interactive sites like this one. So looks really good. So if you're really excited for Santa Claus, you're gonna have to wait, but you can come here and play games and watch the countdown and stuff.
Very cool. I know that the
glad
Santa
you
Tracker is one of my niece's favorite things of Christmas Eve, so we'll be.
So, does your niece does she believe?
Oh yeah, both of them.
Does she believe in the fact that is Santa Claus?
Yep. Oh yeah. No, without even any, which I'm shocked because one is in middle school and the other one's in 4th grade. So it's getting on in years.
We're
And by
like
the way,
living in the
spoiler
internet
warning,
age. How
spoiler
are
warning.
Yeah.
If anyone's watching the show that believes in Santa Claus, of course Santa Claus is up in the North Pole
Exactly.
preparing for Christmas.
That's why I said fact.
Sure. I don't want to. Yeah, there you go.
You don't want to. Yeah, sorry.
But hypothetically,
Spoiler.
they fully believe 100%, and I'm all about keeping that going. Or if they don't believe, they're doing a very good job of making us think they still believe.
Or maybe they realize that if they believe too early, it might alter the course of Christmas Day.
Right.
When it comes to presents under the
variable.
tree, and maybe I should just believe for a really long time.
Yeah, we've already said too much.
Yes.
Sorry.
Exactly. I just kind of figured in this day and age of being connected to the internet, that age would drop.
Oh, I know, but they're also really sweet girls, and they like to believe in things. Like the Elf on the Shelf made his appearance the day after Thanksgiving, and I got my annual lecture about how that works and how he's reporting to Santa every night
It's
and all this
kinda
sort of
crazy.
stuff, and with complete conviction sold it. So
Hook, line, and sinker.
I like it. Magic.
Awesome.
There's still magic in the world,
Yes.
despite Black Friday.
We'll get to that in a second. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, strangely, on such a slow news week. We were able to figure it out.
Yes.
We're going to be discussing ideas on how you should spend your money, basically. An inside look at the Android Nanodegree, which we heard a lot about earlier this year. Gina's been doing that for a little while, so can't wait to talk to you about that, Gina. Mateo, you have reviews of is it Meizu or Meizu?
Yes, it's Meizu.
Meizu, the Meizu M2 Note, and then the Xiaomi Redmi Note 2. And because Mateo is here, we have to expect some goats. So we'll see if that happens. And this is not really a news segment because there wasn't a whole lot of Android-specific news. But Brian, I don't want to take this opportunity away from you. So let's dive into the news.
This just in, there's absolutely no news for me to report on. But don't worry, Jason will find something in Android news.
All right, that works.
Well, that's definitely going to make the best of.
No, don't worry. The best of, I think, just has a compilation of all of his intros. That's like half the best of right there.
Yep.
All right, so Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Turns out a lot of people spent money this year.
Although I saw overall it was down. Like,
what's that?
From a total.
What I meant to say was mobile. On mobile. There you go. Spent a lot more on mobile. The kind of tide is turning as far as where people are spending their money on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Shopping from a mobile device accounted for a little more than 1/3 of total shopping on Black Friday. 77.6% coming from iOS devices, while 22.1% happened on Android devices, even though Android devices count for 84.7% of the market share, according to Gartner. It's a big gap there. I mean, this was like one of the first years where like I was all in. Like,
you were all in?
I kind of, up until this morning, I kind of like, oh, that's a good deal. I'll do that one too. Oh, that's a good deal. I'll do that one too.
Man.
And I blame the app that I brought into the arena a couple of weeks ago. That Slick Deals app is too good. It's far too good for telling me about these deals.
Yep.
So anyways.
I very cynically and maybe trollishly actually believe that the reason for this is that the Apple users were using Apple Maps, got lost, and couldn't get to the stores. And so had to buy stuff on their phones, whereas the Android users were using Google Maps as navigation, got to the stores, and did shopping there.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, I just want to tell Android users,
That's a theory.
just use your phone. It's way better than going to the store. Like, who really wants to go to the store on Black Friday morning?
I heard several people who were like, "Oh, go, just went shopping on Friday." I was like, "Really?
No,
Like, couldn't
just save
even."
yourself.
Yeah. I didn't buy anything. I didn't do anything.
What about you, Gina?
I had no plans to buy anything. I did not go to any stores, but I got a lot of push notifications, mostly from Amazon, just because I have like the Amazon shopping app. So I found myself sort of idly just like going through the Amazon Black Friday deals because it pushed notifications at me, and a few places like text messaged me. I got a lot of mobile ads, I feel like, than I've ever gotten, or prompts to shop than I ever remember doing. But yeah, no, I wasn't participating in that craziness. It feels like there's a lot of Black Friday kind of backlash. Like there's at least one commercial from like big box stores being like, our employees are going to be home with their families this Thanksgiving. We're not going to be open. There was a little bit of that.
Yeah, it was REI that shut down that just closed on Friday. Like, and they're
REI did. There was a list of stores of like bigger stores. I feel it was like Home Goods and TJ Maxx. It was a kind of a conglomerate of box stores, but still the craziness went on. I very happily did not participate and went to the movies instead, which was perfectly fine.
I can't remember what it was, but it was Thanksgiving morning, and we were watching a football game, and then there was an advertisement for some big box store, and it was like, our Black Friday celebration starts today at 6 p.m.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm like, are you kidding me? It's Thanksgiving. Like, I suppose I could understand if you're moving it until midnight Thanksgiving, but even that, it sucks.
But in that regard, though, it's good to see
give your employees a break.
Mobile shopping go, because for whatever reason, whatever weird, wacky formula that compels people to feel the need that they need to shop on this weekend. And the merchants are doing the same. I mean, offering deals and things like that. So whatever we're doing, fine. If we're kickstarting sales for this weekend, if that's going to happen, that's fine. But seeing people doing it from home with their devices, be it on a desktop or on a phone, as opposed to getting into fights at Walmart or going to the mall or doing anything like that. I mean, it's at least it's going in that kind of direction where it can be done more, in the future, distributed and with the technology. So I mean, I guess that's okay. I haven't shopped at the store in years, though. So,
what's our theory about the Android iOS divide?
I don't know. Like, I think it's kind of a controversial area to venture into, right? Like, you don't necessarily want to make any assumptions as far as what that means, because I've heard and read plenty of times that Android users just aren't willing to spend money on things, and iOS users are, and it's still repeated all the time. Yeah. Yet you can end up hearing something like this, and what does that mean? Or does it mean anything? Is it just a useless number? I mean, the divide is wide enough that it must mean something.
But also,
I'm hesitant to like draw a line in the sand and say anything because I think anything is overly simplistic.
I mean, but then again, my whole question is that question the source. I mean, according to this article in Forbes, it says, according to e-commerce analytics from Custora. Have you ever heard of Custora?
Right.
I mean, like, so, I question the validity of 20%, or 22% of all purchases were Android. That is nearly impossible to be able to give a declarative sentence like that unless every Amazon and every other online merchant is sharing their user logs. So
really depends on their data gathering and their method of crunching the statistics too. Right. Because in good statistics methodology, you don't need a lot. You don't need a complete list of everybody participating. You just need an accurate
sample size.
Sample size.
Hey, Mr. Nielsen. I don't know. I just don't. I question it.
You don't buy into statistics.
I don't buy into this theory. Yeah. Where have statistics gotten us?
Yeah, seriously. What have we learned from statistics?
I spent the long weekend with some family members, one of whom had, this is totally just anecdotal, thing, but my sister-in-law has this like low-end Android phone that's more than 2 years old, and she spent a lot of the weekend telling me how slow it was and how it, crashed and things would lock, and, she wouldn't get text messages till a lot later, and it was like, she got the cheapest, least expensive phone that she could afford, a few years ago, and it just didn't age well. And so I wonder about if that's part of the issue, if that's the experience that you have folks just buying the lowest end phones just to have a smartphone and just haven't ventured into apps and buying and kind of the more advanced stuff. Not everyone is summoning an Uber from their phone. I mean, that's our world, right? But that's just not the world for everybody who's on Android.
And also, like, I consider myself to be, fairly on the, bleeding edge and all stuff. I hate shopping on my phone. Like, I have the Amazon app. I'd much rather just open my laptop and order via the website.
Well, I will say my phone is where, because I did a decent amount of Christmas shopping the last couple of days. Yeah. Thankfully, I could say that it was for that and not necessarily for myself. Well, maybe a couple of things for myself. Anyways, the point being, the notifications came through on my phone. Yep. What did I do with that? There were a couple of times where I was like, oh, well, I'll just buy it right now because get on a computer and punch it out and be done.
And it's a weird psychology thing because even before Black Friday, I think it was last week, I got a friend texted me that some tickets for bands went on sale, and I forgot about it. So I was out, I wasn't home, so I went to the ticket site, I bought the tickets with my phone, and I kept the browser window open with the confirmation until I got home to see the actual email because I didn't trust doing it on here, even though clearly I did it. Like, for some reason, I don't have confidence in spending money with this device, and I don't know why. Because I totally should. Because we're the people.
Yeah, right.
We're totally the people. Wait, why didn't you just check your mail on the phone to make sure you had gotten the email?
Oh, Gina, because I'm using this demo 6P and I haven't loaded my POP3 email on here because
how are you living without your POP3 email?
I just wanted to get you to say POP3.
I know you did. You baited me. Whoever in the chat room had 10 minutes into the show, you win the pool. But so that's all. But I have a lack of confidence in shopping on my phone for some reason. I don't know why. It's weird.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's the generation gap.
That is interesting.
I mean, I have a lack of confidence using my phone as a wireless, wallet.
Oh, and
Android Pay.
No problem doing that either.
Yeah, but I run into issues enough that I'm like, whatever, card.
Oh, well.
All right, so kind of speaking of this stuff, Gina, you posed kind of a good question when we were kind of getting all set up for the show. And, let's talk about it because there really is no news. What would we recommend to people if we needed to give an Android gift idea? What do you think, Gina?
All about Android gift guide?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. Well, I'm honestly, I'm taking advantage of the brain trust here because I had a friend of mine who was like, I have a coworker who's leaving and the whole office is chipping in and he's an Android user. Like, what Android related item would you recommend? And I was like, that's a good question. I don't review hardware nearly as much as you guys do. So my answers were the stuff that I have, owned and loved. I have the 5X, which I do love now. I've come to love it. It's light. It's not quite as powerful, but it's light and it's easy to use, and I really like it. So the Nexus 5X, and that's $379. That's a pretty good gift. I love the Moto 360, which is a second-gen device now, which starts at $299. So those are two great Android devices, and I'm just kind of going straight to the Google store there. Very, very obvious picks, but I was interested to know what you all, if someone was purchasing an Android related gift for someone in their life or at the office or whatever, what you all would pick. So I wanted to pose the question.
I'm going to defer to Jason and Mateo here because I was late. I was late to the game
because we got ours in the dock too early, and you're like, they're all there.
And I agree with a lot of them, but I've one to add, but it's more of a supplemental. So Mateo, what would you recommend for holiday Android? The Android person in your life, what would you get them for Christmas?
Well, it depends on the person and what their sort of lifestyle is like. Personally, if there's someone who likes media on TV, I'd say the Chromecast or the Amazon Fire TV, provided they have Couch's Allcast app, is a very good option. If it's someone who does fitness or goes to the gym, likes running, I'd say Xiaomi, the Chinese manufacturer, have an accessory called the Mi Band. It's about $20. It works with both iOS and Android, and it's a great little fitness tracker. Very affordable. And there's a wide selection of bracelets available as well.
That's a pick right there. $20 too. That's like
$20.
That's like White Santa.
And
gift idea.
At that price, it's not inconceivable to get the whole family one, and then you can start sharing and competing on your daily goals of steps or comparing your sleep patterns. So I'm a big fan of this. Both my girlfriend Candice and I have one, and we compare results. So it's a good little device. If it's moving on to tablets, I agree with Gina. The Nexus 9 is still excellent value for money at the new reduced price. And if, on the other hand, you're not particularly invested in the Google ecosystem, the new Amazon Fire 7-inch tablet is for $50 is amazingly good value for money. And very good for media consumption, especially if you subscribe to Amazon's Prime service. So where you have not only next day delivery, but the video service and music service included with your subscription. If, on the other hand, you're looking for a smart watch, Android Wear, I personally am very happy with the Sony Smartwatch 3, which has dropped in price to about $160 now. So those are my recommendations. And I'll try and not giggle when Jason suggests his smartwatch recommendation.
Don't you giggle at me. I don't know why you're going to giggle. It's a good watch, all right?
I know why. Well, that's a good.
There's a Twitbit which deserves to be part of the best of 2015. In my view.
I'm sure it'll be in there.
That was a highlight.
Speaking of, I have to get started on that. So let's wrap this up early so I can get started on that.
Well, that's a segue if I ever heard of it. What watch would you
recommend?
It's
just too easy. Okay. So my favorite watch this year is definitely the Huawei watch. It's just, I'm not even trying. It just sounds weird because of the way it sounds, but that's just what it is.
With the Huawei watch.
That's just what it is. It's the Huawei watch for Christmas. $349, which is expensive for a Wear device, but it's not quite as expensive as the Tag Heuer $1,500 watch. So you can at least wipe the tears away with the money that you're saving. By going Huawei instead of Tag Heuer. I really liked that watch. I thought that watch was fantastic, and I would love to get one. I saw it on sale this weekend. I didn't buy it, though, but it was reduced in price by like $50 or $60. And I was like, that's a little bit more palatable. Phone, I've been really loving the Nexus 6P. Ron is ready to throw it out the window because it's just too big. I still continue what I said last week when we were talking about it. It is a great device. It is a hands down possibly one of the best phones I've ever used. It's just too big. It's just too darn big. Man, I'd hate to see you spend a week with the Nexus 6, not the 6P, but the 6.
Why?
Because the 6 is giant.
It's bigger.
It's just even bigger. Yeah.
It's even bigger.
There you go. It's nice.
It is.
Is that the aluminum or is that the white? The white.
It's the aluminium one.
Aluminium.
There you go.
Aluminium.
I'm particularly impressed by the camera on the Nexus 6P.
Yes.
So last week I was in Italy and I was using it in low light conditions, sunsets, fog in the morning, and I was really, really impressed with the results.
Yeah, I've been using it nonstop. I was like we were talking about in the pre-show. I was in New York last week for the holiday, and I mean, honestly, some of the best pictures I've ever taken have been with this phone. I mean, actually, before I left for New York, I was in San Francisco. I went to see Goodfellas at the Castro.
Oh, and Carlito's Way, what a double feature!
I missed Carlito's Way. I had to go to the airport, but I just took a simple on the street snapshot of the Castro Theater in San Francisco, and got a beautiful photo. Here, Brian, I'll put it in the chat for you. Put it up there. But yeah, I mean, it's just like perfect middle of the day, blue sky, just like, and didn't stock camera app. I'm not using ProShot or anything like that. It just came out perfect. Like,
it looks good.
So much so I made
especially the contrast of the sky to the building. Like sometimes you want it to be lighter or darker. And
so much so I actually made it the background on my phone, which I never do. So
nice.
It's like,
well, it's got Goodfellas in it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
You're kind of invested in Goodfellas at the moment.
So. Right now. Yeah, it's hard not to. But yeah, no, it's an amazing device.
Since we're talking about this, the 6P camera, I love it. When I can get the ding app to work regularly. There are times where I will launch it and it will come up and I'll take a picture and then it'll think, and it shows the little picture down in the little preview. And then I go to look at it and it disappears entirely. Nope. It's as if it never took it.
That's happened to me on the 5X. I wonder if that's a marshmallow thing.
That's never happened to me. Are you doing is HDR turned on?
I mean, I leave it on automatic usually.
Okay, yeah, because I turned HDR off because I noticed that it was taking time to do the processing. I was like, I don't care.
Right.
So I turned it off, and so it's boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Try turning HDR off and see if that happens as well.
I don't want to have to try and turn HDR off for my camera app to work.
I know.
But I've
had that happen a couple times. It's very,
really?
very
Okay, cool. I was wondering if it was my device, and at a certain point I was like, man, do I need to like send this back? Because I've had some weird camera issues.
I haven't had that.
Yeah.
So it's like the camera's great most of the time, but every once in a while it doesn't take the picture for whatever reason, and that I don't like.
All right.
So. Yeah, I dropped my 5X.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was 22 hours I owned the phone and I dropped it. But I got Nexus Protect, so it's fine. And I'm gonna send it back. It still works.
Yeah.
And I don't want to use up my 2 replacements in 2 years. So I need to send it back, but I just sort of chalked the camera thing up. I was like, when I get the new one, which I'm gonna send it back now because I'm tired of having my cracked up phone screen.
Yeah.
I was hoping that would clear it up, but that has happened. The 6, the 5X is noticeably I'm aware of the fact that it is not the most powerful phone. That the 6 is clearly going to be more powerful, but I really do like the size. I actually wound up buying the 6 while between my 1+1 and I got the 5X. I bought the 6 pretty cheap because they were available pretty cheap. And that thing is just a monster. And it's my development phone now. But anytime I pick it up, I'm like, this thing is huge. I feel like I'm always going to drop it and stuff. So it's just kind of a trade-off. I've been enjoying the smaller phone because it's just easier for one-handed use for me, especially on the subway and stuff. But it's a trade-off, the size for the power.
That's exactly what using the 6P on the subway in New York City, holding it, doing stuff, and somebody bumps me, and I'm like, I feel it, that's what worries me. That's why it's too much.
Yeah, it's stressful. What else real quick here, Chromecast audio. I love Chromecast audio. I'm getting another one
really nice.
So that I can eventually, because I don't think Google's rolled this out yet, but their plan is to make them so that they can connect to each other. So if you have multiples in a house, they can kind of sync up, and you can cast your audio to both. I know that Google said that was going to happen by the end of the year. I'm not sure that that's happened yet.
I would like that because I have a Chromecast to my TV, and then I just have a crappy audio pass through to my stereo. But I've got Chromecast audio to my stereo, and I'd like with the digital, with the optical cable. I'd rather have the best audio quality I can get from even the video I'm watching. So
yeah. No, I love Chromecast audio. Use it every day. I mean, Chromecast and Chromecast audio, both of them are kind of no-brainers as far as I'm concerned. And then the Mattel ViewMaster, which I played with and spent time with and reviewed and gave it a buy on before you buy. I think for kids especially, it's a durable, non-disposable cardboard viewer for VR with your Android device. And I don't know, it's got a little. It definitely looks like a toy, but that's kind of its character and its charm. And I think for $30, it's a good gift for a kid. Give them the gift of VR.
Cool.
Absolutely agreed. In fact, that would have been on my list if I had the opportunity to add to the list.
Sorry, Ron.
In fact, the Viewmaster VR, I'm planning on getting my aforementioned niece who still believes in Santa for Christmas. So that's hopefully she doesn't watch the show. If so, I'm sorry. No, but I also, I agree with Chromecast. The Chromecast recommendations. I think both Chromecast, regular Chromecast TV and Chromecast audio are great. Not only for somebody who uses Android, but they're also compatible with iOS, so they could be a good gift for anybody really. I'm a Nexus 9 user. I got it for Christmas last year, and I've been using it now. It'll be a full year. I love that tablet. It's fantastic. But generally, the one area that, these are all kind of, Chromecast and the Xiaomi band are under $50 and that sort of thing. But if you're looking for somebody who is an Android user, but you're looking for some sort of accessory or some sort of supplemental gift, I don't think you can go wrong with a external battery, rechargeable battery. We always talk, everybody needs one, especially people who are out on the go. And Mophie is by far the best manufacturer of those. They make some really great ones. You never want to be left without power, and I think that's a great little stocking stuffer to get somebody, under, like affordable. It's a good price. And it's so useful. So
especially if you do a lot of traveling.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yep. So
agreed.
Cool. Well, that's
so there you go.
All About Android gift guide, but we actually got a suggestion in via email for another type of gift guide. Chris wrote in and says, how about a 2015 tablets buyer's guide? Phones are the new hotness, but many of us want to pick up a tablet or add a tablet to our wish list for the holidays. Some guidance in selecting the right hardware would be great. And Chris, I absolutely agree with you. I think tablets is the one sector of Android hardware I think that gets the least amount of love, that has gotten the least amount of traction, and I think potentially could be the coolest gift and or addition to somebody's hardware, makeup or whatever.
Yeah, it's almost like a phone is almost personal, right? Yeah. Like everybody wants to buy their phone because it's on them at all times. Tablet's a little bit more kind of like a shared device that you can keep in the living room on the couch or something like that. So it's maybe one of those gift ideas that you don't have to feel like you're making a grand decision for that person by buying it for them.
Right, exactly. You're not committing them to to this whole ecosystem infrastructure. As Matteo mentioned just a little bit earlier, the Nexus 9, the price has dropped. It's $299, and it's such a solid tablet. It is great, but there's a new NVIDIA tablet. Jason,
it's the NVIDIA Shield tablet. They've renamed it and they've lowered the price. It's the K1. $199 for that. 16 gigs of onboard storage though, and the Shield tablet is definitely geared for gamers. It even includes I think it's an extra accessory, but the controller that connects to it. And NVIDIA has their own exclusive NVIDIA titles. Portal is one of them, which I would love to play on my Android device, but no, you got to have an NVIDIA device. And then also GeForce Now, which is streaming PC games to the device. So the 16 gigs of onboard storage might, to some people is going to be somewhat limited when it comes to app storage if you're using this as a gaming tablet. But a lot of this, I think they're banking on the fact that you're going to be using it for streaming from the cloud and stuff like that. And it does have a micro SD card slot, but you can't install apps to that. It's just your media.
Just data, yeah.
So I don't know, but $199.99 is a great price for a tablet. It kind of reminds me of the Nexus 7, kind of same pricing area, and you get a lot of kind of gaming focused features on it. So.
Right. And another option from our friends over at Samsung, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S is always a good option. The 8-inch model runs for about $350, and the 9.7-inch runs for about $400. A little more than the Nexus 9, but the 9.7 is a little bigger than the Nexus 9. And it's got that great durable all-metal build, and it's got a I can't even do the numbers. I'm so tired. 2048 by 1536 resolution display, AMOLED display. So it looks really crisp. And Samsung is a solid brand. And if you're giving somebody for their big gift, this could be a good one as well too. So
a little pricier, but this is a very nice tablet.
Yeah.
And we have our friend Hiroshi at Google teasing us with the Pixel C.
Oh, right.
On Twitter today. So we haven't heard much about the Pixel C recently, but Hiroshi took a picture of one of the pre-release devices next to his Chromebook Pixel going through airport security and tweeted it at MKBHD. So little tease from Google. It might be out before Christmas. It might be a last-minute very expensive, very shiny gift.
Yeah, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
expensive. What is that going to be? 500-ish? I can't remember, to be honest, but I remember it was expensive.
Yeah, it's going to be way up there.
Yeah, as the keyboard dock and everything.
Yep.
Man, and that's supposed to come out by the end of the year, so we should hear about that any day. If Hiroshi's tweeting it out, then maybe Google's kind of ramping up, doing a little pre-teaser to, get you in on it before they do their official unveiling. So,
So, there it is.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
TSA approves.
All right.
So, anyway, Chris, there you go. There's some tablet recommendations for you. Good luck in your holiday shopping.
All right. Well, now that we're all broke.
Yep. Now we need to learn something so we can get a new job.
So we can be not broke. Gina, you've been doing for I don't know how many months now, the Android developer Nanodegree through Udacity. This is developed in part by Google, and they announced this at this year's Google I/O. What's your experience been? Has it been? I imagine it's very challenging.
It's been really good. Yeah, Google announced Nanodegree at Google I/O, and I registered in July, so it's been several months now. I'm about 4 projects in, and I have to say, I really can't say too many good things about the material. Is really well done. It's really informative. I've learned a lot, but they kind of make you look stuff up in documentation and go to Stack Overflow and talk on the forums, which is exactly what regular programming is like. The material is great. I mean, most of the instructors are developer advocates at Google, and so the material is basically like short videos with then quizzes at the end, and you can see that a lot of it is shot on the Google campus with people that that I recognize, like Rado Meyer, who has written a bunch of books on Android. Has been there since the beginning, and it's super nerdy and even kind of entertaining at times. There was a point where I started downloading like the Stanford I think it was developing iOS apps lectures, which are also free, but they were these 60-minute YouTube videos of basically a full lecture hall and a little tiny person, talking in the front. And I found it completely just intractable. The Udacity courses are really entertaining, and the material is shot in 5 to 7 minute segments, and they're interactive quizzes, and then they give you starter code and you work on projects. So it's been a lot of fun. There's a Slack room with a bunch of students in my cohort. So I've been really enjoying myself.
That's cool.
The thing that's been really challenging for me, and it's the thing that should have been really obvious to me in the beginning about every kind of learn to code endeavor with whatever material, is that the hardest part is just making the time.
Yeah, right.
And doing it all the time. Like there's no shortage of great material out there at this point, but the thing that's kicking my butt the most is just making the time and staying committed, which has been hard. I mean, it's like college. I've got a project due actually Monday, and I'm totally scrambling this week because I've been procrastinating. So it's like, it's like training for Ron, you're training for a marathon right now. It's just a huge time commitment. So I'd say even between 5 to 10 hours a week. So if you start to slack, and it's the kind of thing where I'll scramble and I'll get my project done, and then you submit your project, and then there are code reviewers who basically say yes, you can move on, or no, go back and fix these things. And the code reviews are really thorough and great and really fast and informative. It's awesome. But I'll submit a project, and they'll be like, "You're good to go. You're good to move on." And the next 2 weeks, I won't look at it because I'll just feel so accomplished. But then I'll get behind on the next segment.
I mean, is that the kind of thing where, because you need to have that self-discipline, right? I mean, it's not like you're physically going to, you have class at 5 o'clock on this time, right? It's you're fitting it within your schedule, and so if you have a full day of work and the baby's crying and the dry cleaning's got to be picked up, and you got to go shopping, and then there's Black Friday, and then all this sort of stuff.
Quit talking about my life, Ron.
No, it's true. It's true. I mean, you get to work at your own pace, right? Which is the best. It's just the best feature, the biggest selling point, and yet another thing that will totally trip you up.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, I just don't have time right now. Right? You never have time.
Right.
But they do so you register within a cohort. So there's a group of people who kind of register at the same time. They start you off, and then they have kind of suggested deadlines when stuff should be done. And I've been trying to stay within those, because then you get left back to the cohort behind you. And to my mind, I feel like a huge loser, even though it doesn't make you a loser. It's one of those things where I'm like, I work better when I have a deadline. So I take the deadline seriously, even though if I miss them, no big deal, because you really can work at your own pace and take as long as you need. But yeah, when there's a deadline, I'm like, oh my God, I got a project due.
They give you some incentive. So it's $200 after 1 week free trial, $200 per month.
Yes.
But you can't work on your own schedule. But they do give you the incentive that if you graduate in less than 12 months, you get half of your tuition back.
Right, exactly.
Because, I mean, when you're going to university or something like that, there's a little bit more of like this official air over it where it's like, well, I better do this because, wow, if I don't, there's going to be hell to pay. Here it's, it's more like you're taking it into your own hands. So I know for some people, myself probably included, I would need some sort of like, some sort of something on the other side that like, if you don't do this, this happens.
We'll charge you double.
Do this.
We'll charge you double.
Yes.
We'll
We
charge you
will,
double. Right, yeah.
Yes, sir.
The money thing definitely helps me. Like, there's tons of free resources out there, and Udacity has tons of free resources, but there's something about the monthly tuition that's like mentally, I'm like, I have to be doing this because if I'm not doing this, then I need to just disenroll. And also getting your tuition, getting half your tuition back is within a year. And like, listen, if I'm not going to do it in a year, I'm not going to do it, right? So, so that is a good motivator. It is a good motivator. It's unlike a gym membership where you pay once and then you just can forget about it for a year. This actually hits your credit card once a month, so I'm reminded.
It's a similar quandary I have with Blue Apron, where like I paid $60 and I get all this food, but I don't have time to cook.
And you're like, what do I do? I just kind of want to go to bed. Can I just eat that cabbage?
Yeah, exactly. What I've actually been doing is like cobbling together ingredients from multiple recipes and making my own thing, which I guess is fine, right? 'Cause I paid for them.
Yeah, exactly. It's ingredients. Do what you want with them.
Love Blue Apron. Thank you for supporting the show. No, I love this idea of the Nanodegree, and I did a little. I didn't do it through Udacity, but back in the spring, I was doing it through Treehouse, which is another great platform, and I was taking some SQL stuff and some Python stuff. I would love to get to the point of being able to do some Android stuff, and so this is pretty cool. So, yeah,
very, very cool.
Glad to hear it was a
stuff.
good experience so far.
It's been a good experience, and I really do feel like I'm on top of the world when I finished a project, but not so much when the project is due.
Yeah. Well, and actually, Flying Roaches in the chat room has a really great observation saying that try and enroll with a friend so you can help each other finish the course, and you have someone who, like, as great as it is to have that Slack channel with your cohorts and things like that, but to have actually, like, Jason, if you and I enrolled together, we could, say, oh, I'm stuck on this. What about this?
Right, and then when we're done, we can develop an app together.
There you go.
Right?
I think that sounds like a great idea. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. It's good advice.
We just started a company.
The All About Android Christmas Shopping Guide 2017.
There you go.
Or 16.
The
and
app.
There'll be a Easter egg that if you tap the logo 4 times, it unlocks goat mode.
Yeah.
And then it's, so there you go. I made a goat joke.
A goat smashes through the screen.
What is the world coming to?
And gives you a discount.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a quick break and thank our first sponsor. We want to thank Gazelle for sponsoring this episode of All About Android. Gazelle is the trusted online marketplace for buying and selling used electronics. Trade in your old device for cash. You can buy a certified pre-owned one or do both. For trade-ins, simply visit Gazelle.com, find your device, and get an instant quote. Shipping is free and payment is fast. If you're looking to buy a certified pre-owned device, Gazelle has a variety of Samsung Galaxy phones to choose from. Each device is fully inspected and backed by a 30-day return policy, and also sold without a carrier contract. So go to Gazelle.com and see what your old device is worth. You can check out the selections of certified pre-owned devices on their site. Don't miss out on getting the best value on certified pre-owned devices, and there are tons of benefits for doing that. Devices are available in good and excellent conditions. Good condition shows some gentle signs of wear and tear, but offers consumers great prices on still great devices. All devices are put through a rigorous 30-point inspection process, ensuring that they're in perfect working order. And devices are available for support by all the major carriers: AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint. So if you're looking to upgrade your device, but you've got an old device that's still in good working order, go to Gazelle, trade it in, buy a new device on Gazelle. It's your one-stop shop for trading in your devices and getting new ones. Give new life to used electronics. Trade in for cash or buy certified pre-owned. Visit Gazelle.com today, and we thank them for their support.
Thank you, Gazelle. This is like Gazelle season.
Yeah, it totally is Gazelle season. Hey, there's nothing wrong with my Nexus 5. I mean, like, I'm looking to upgrade, but I might send it Gazelle's way. It's in really good working order. I believe it would qualify for certified pre-owned. So
there you go. Well, you take really good care of your phone.
I do.
So
yeah.
there you go.
Except when I drop it and shatter the screen twice.
All it takes is one little slip.
One slip. Gina
One
can
slip,
feel you.
and you're done. It's true.
Yeah. Before we move on, front page deal and Slick Deals. You want to know what it is?
No, what is it?
You want to know what it is?
Oh,
James Bond Collection, complete 23 film box set, Blu-ray, $70.
Nah.
No?
That sounds like breaking news to me, Jason.
Yeah, it's been a while. Thank you. That was an obvious breaking news segment. I just missed it. All right, let's talk about some hardware. You know, let's do it.
Let me just move the button real quick. There we go.
Do it.
I was all set up for that breaking news.
You planned for the breaking news. Maybe
Not the hardware.
Not quite for the hardware. Awesome. So let's see here. This is a Mateo double feature here. You've played with a couple of devices that we have not heard of. But tell us a little bit about the Meizu M2 Note, first of all.
So the Meizu M2 Note is a very affordable 5.5-inch Android device from a company called Meizu, who are based in China and they design their devices in China and manufacture them there. So this device, as the next one we're going to talk about, is powered by a MediaTek octa-core chipset. It has a 2 gigabytes of RAM, a full HD 5.5-inch screen. It takes 2 SIM cards, so it's a dual SIM device. And it also takes microSD expansion. So specs-wise, it looks good on paper, and to hold in the hand, it really oozes the feeling of quality. It's a really well-built device. It's made out of lightweight plastic. The screen is made out of IGZO. It's an IGZO screen, so it's very bright, nice IPS display. And probably due to their history, Meizu maybe make this look a bit more like an iPhone than many people realize. So Meizu started off before the days of Android. They used to make things which were heavily inspired by iPhones, which were actually running Windows CE underneath, which is a horrible, horrible operating system if you're trying to use it on a mobile device with a touchscreen. This is an iteration, a very far relative of the original Meizu devices, and it feels really, really good. It's running the Meizu's own version of Android, their own Android-based operating system, which is built on top of Android 5.1. It's called Flyme OS, or Flyme, as I like to call it.
Flyme.
So this is an operating system geared for the Chinese market.
They're all about their themes in the Chinese market. I've noticed, like a lot of their launchers and stuff. Yeah, it's all about the one-click theme, theming markets, all that kind of stuff.
It's made for markets where Google services aren't available. Mm-hmm. So I initially used it with this in mind. So I deliberately made a point of not using Google services on it and using some of the local services, such as WeChat. And it's a really, really good device. It has various power settings, so you can go into balanced light mode or performance mode. The battery life was excellent. It's powered by a battery that's just over 3,000 milliamp hour. That's a picture taken with a camera that you're showing on screen now.
Blown out background.
Yeah, look at that.
It's not perfect, but for a phone in that price range, which is around about $150 to $170, you can't complain too much. It's an all-round device, and you can install Google services. There's a Google installer that many retailers will add to it. And overall, fantastic device, great value for money. One of the interesting things Meizu have done is they've optimized the operating system to work with the hardware. From the picture at the beginning, you'll have noticed that there's a home button, very iOS-like. But in terms of functionality, it's actually very different. So if you press the physical button, it takes you to the home screen. Whereas if you just tap it, it's a capacitive button that acts as your Android back button.
So interesting.
Tapping gives you back, pressing gives you home.
Oh.
There is no as in task switcher button, because if you swipe up from the bottom of the screen, it will give you the task switcher that way. And then, as with Android Lollipop and later versions of Android, the menu button will be handled gracefully by the operating system and the apps according to if there is a need for it. So they've done some very interesting stuff building on top of AOSP, the open source version of Android. And I was pleasantly surprised by the overall experience of Flyme or Flyme OS. And there are a few things that I think that other OEMs around the world might want to take inspiration from for their own OS. It's extremely lightweight, very efficient. The battery life is very good. So I was very, very impressed by it. And it was great for to use as a media player for listening to podcasts or streaming music on it. So that's just an example of what's coming out of China at the moment. It used to be that Meizu and Xiaomi were maybe a bit questionable in terms of the build quality and the software quality of what was coming out. Now I think they've reached a certain maturity, and we can start learning from these OEMs and ODMs about how to improve our own software development and product developments in especially on these mobile platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. Quality in general is just ramped up across the board, and that's including these much lower cost and manufacturers.
The OS also gets 2 to 4 weekly updates, so it's not something that's standing still. They're pushing out bug fixes much faster than the bigger OEMs which are tied to networks. Obviously, these devices are sold completely SIM unlocked, not tied to network. So that's also a factor. They don't have to go through network approval to get the updates. But interesting, the downside to this is that it does work in Europe as well, but only on certain networks that have certain LTE bands. So it will work on 2G and 3G, but if you want 4G, you have to be on certain networks. So in the UK, for example, 3 is one of the networks with EE. You can use an imported Meizu from China. They do also do an international version with different radio frequencies, but that's more difficult to come by. The frequent OS updates, it's probably worth calling out, are also thanks to MediaTek, the company making the chipset, who make the open source drivers to those chipsets available much faster than they used to. In the early days of Android, if you got an Android device with a MediaTek chipset, there was no way you were going to get an upgrade to Android, and that's what kept a lot of devices back in the upgrade cycle.
Sure.
So Meizu's there, and the second device I reviewed, the Xiaomi Redmi Note 2, which again takes the Note name and the second number in the sequence because it's the second generation of it. It's running on a MediaTek chipset, a slightly newer one, running at 2 gigahertz. So it's a faster chip, which is branded with the Helio brand. It's one of the new ones, which also has a faster GPU. Overall, the specs are practically identical in terms of cameras, in terms of storage. The big difference with the Xiaomi is that it offers you the facility of actually having 2 separate SIM cards plus a micro SD, whereas the Meizu only allows you to have 1 micro SD and 1 SIM card or 2 SIM cards. So that's a big difference. The other one is the battery. So on the Meizu, it's a sealed unit, very nice and solid to hold, whereas with the Xiaomi, you can remove the back, remove the battery, and swap it in and out. So for someone who maybe doesn't have regular access to electricity or someone traveling, that might actually be an advantage. It's very easy to pick up a spare battery on AliExpress or Amazon for a relatively affordable price. So for that's a very good use case for it. Xiaomi, obviously, another Chinese company, they started off a bit in the opposite position compared to Meizu. So Xiaomi started off as a company creating their own Android distribution, their own version of Android without Google services. And it was installed much the same as Cyanogen on other devices. they then started making hardware themselves. So they started off as a software company, and they then transitioned into hardware.
I remember running a Motorola Droid and hearing about the MIUI and wondering, oh, wow, this is different. Wait a minute, it looks a lot like iOS. Or, well, I guess it wasn't iOS at the time, but yeah, it was totally software first, and then they came out with this hardware that's actually really, really good.
Exactly. So Xiaomi are now the biggest OEM in China, so significant market. And they're the third largest OEM in the world. They're expanding rapidly in Southeast Asia and in India, so they're a force to be reckoned with. Their business model is slightly different. So they sell the hardware at cost, their full range of products, and aim to make money from services and attachments, so accessories, app purchases, theme purchases, and subscription services on top of their platform. Being primarily for non-Google markets, they bundle their own app store, their own services on top of the hardware, and they're doing a very good business. Xiaomi's a lifestyle company. They don't just do smartphones and tablets. Even though their smartphones and tablets are very good and sell well, they also do air purifiers, segways, fitness bands, televisions, soundbars. So if you're someone who wants to buy into the Xiaomi ecosystem, they have products for pretty much everything in the household. And it's not excluded they'll expand into other product categories soon as well.
Yeah.
So they're using their own spin of Android 5.1, which is called MIUI 7. Again, very flat. Some say it's iOS-like. That's a matter of opinion. In my view, I was playing with MyUI before the iOS 7 release. I think iOS 7 borrowed heavily from MyUI, especially in the menus look and feel and the color palettes. So interesting companies, both offering excellent value for money devices in under $200, well under $200. As you're seeing on screen, my reviews are both now available on coolsmartphone.com. They're great devices for the money. I can't talk highly enough about them. Expandable memory, good battery life, great screen.
And low price.
They can comfortably handle high-end games such as Star Wars games, such as Goat Simulator. They really do perform well. Always.
Yeah,
and the cameras aren't great. They're not perfect. They're not Nexus 6P level, but they're good enough. And in the price range, they outperform their competition. So if you're looking, for example, to pick up an inexpensive phone for Christmas for yourself or for a relative, it's a good offering.
Gave it an 89%. That's a pretty solid offering.
That's great.
It's a good overall offering. You just passed the screenshot there. So when you're in selfie mode on the Xiaomi, it integrates the facial recognition and it guesses your gender and age.
It does a really good job of it, by the way. Can I just say? Right.
Thank you very much.
Right.
No.
Right.
So,
wow, that gender guess will get you in trouble.
We can make a really geeky 1980s reference to a TV series and movie called Highlander, especially considering my accent. Very few people will get that, but yes. Am I 49 and male?
I don't know. If the Redmi Note 2 says so, then I'm inclined to believe it.
I trust them.
Yes, you can trust Xiaomi.
If on a similar note you want to have fun, there's a Chinese translation app, the Chinese equivalent of Google Translate, called Baidu Translate, which allows you to do image translation. And sometimes it goes horribly wrong, and it's very, very amusing.
Excellent.
Another wonderful thing out of China.
So it's the Meizu M2 Note and the Xiaomi Redmi Note 2. Excellent. That's awesome. These are phones that we hear about. We don't really see them. I guess you can import them into the U.S. and you end up paying a certain fee in order to do that. So it's not quite as inexpensive as it would be if you were there buying it in their market, but still affordable and very interesting devices nonetheless. That's awesome. Coolsmartphone.com to find the full reviews on those.
I didn't realize that Xiaomi was made so many different products. They're kind of like China's Samsung. I just because I had only heard of them in the context of smartphones, I thought they just made phones and tablets and sort of those kind of electronic devices. I didn't realize they were so big. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm tempted just before next spring to get the air purifier. I suffer from a hay fever, and so I'm just looking at it because they're relatively inexpensive. They're small. They use very small amount of power, and the filters are very affordable. So either when myself or a colleague's going to China next time, or if I can find it on AliExpress, I will order one and let you know how I get on. The air purifier and all the other products have their own dedicated Android apps, which you can use your Android phone and tablet to control, which is great.
Control them. Oh.
Very cool.
So it's an ecosystem play in China, which is quietly moving out of China into the rest of the world.
That's right. Well, and they even have a marketplace here in the U.S. For some of their products. Not many at this point, but I'm sure their plans are to expand that beyond.
The political ramifications of that notwithstanding. So,
right.
Great. Well, Matteo, thank you so much. That's awesome. Everybody should go to coolsmartphone.com to read the full reviews. Awesome stuff. Real quickly, one other little note for all of us on VR Watch. Samsung is releasing for Samsung Gear VR, a optimized web browser. Samsung Internet for Gear VR will have support for 360-degree and 3D video streaming from sites and HTML5 video as well. It's got voice recognition with an added on-screen keyboard that allows for text input. And there's a gaze mode that allows you to look at an item directly in order to select it from menus as opposed to clicking anything manually. So if you're moving your web browsing to the VR standpoint and you got to fill out a form, you can just look at that dot, that radio button, and then it will pick it. Download's going to be available tomorrow for Samsung Gear VR users, and it's interesting to see the VR experience move over into the web browing world. So very cool in Samsung. So.
Hey, cool. Facebook's all in on this whole VR thing too.
Yeah.
They think that we're going to be,
Oculus.
It's the next frontier on all this kind of stuff. So Samsung's not alone there. That's all I'm saying.
While we're on hardware, real quickly, I keep forgetting when we talk about the Nexus 6P, I keep forgetting to mention that I love the fingerprint scanner. I hate where it is, because I hit it all the time by mistake when I'm putting it in my pocket or anything like that. Like I drag it over. Also, the button placement, the power button, and the hate where those are too. I cannot figure out the
program your brain.
I'm trying to turn the volume up, and I turn the screen off. I turn the volume down. I turn the screen on. Like I like power and volume to be on separate sides of the device.
It works for me. Like my finger is on the fingerprint reader, and my thumb is on the volume rocker and power.
Oh yeah, no. The problem isn't the fingerprint reader. I know where to put it. The problem is that when I put it in my pocket, I hit it constantly. And
your finger naturally lands on it. Yeah. I get the boom. Oh, yeah. I touched it by mistake.
It happens all the time.
Pretty
all
often,
the time. Yeah. So maybe I'm just new to the whole fingerprint thing. I don't know. Anyway, we talked too much. Let's hear from the sponsor.
Too much. All right. Let's thank our second sponsor of today's episode. That is Braintree. This is for all you developers out there. If you're looking to get into the mobile payments space in your app, listen up. Developers around the world have embraced the Braintree V.0 SDK as the easiest way to add secure mobile payments to their apps and their websites. No matter what payment type, Braintree will accept it. Apple Pay, Android Pay, PayPal, Venmo, credit cards, Bitcoin, of all things. And if something new pops up, Braintree's going to support that too. It's the same payment solution used by Uber, by Airbnb, GitHub. So obviously it scales. It's simple, secure payments. It's code that you can integrate in minutes. And developers, you're taken care of here. You don't have to worry about taking days to integrate your payments into your app experience. With Braintree, it's done in minutes, literally. If you don't have time for even those spare minutes, give them a call. They'll handle the integration for you and walk you through the process. The Braintree code supports Android, iOS, and JavaScript clients with SDKs in 7 languages: .NET, Node.js, Java, Perl, PHP, Python, Ruby, and it's clearly documented, elegant code, really easy to understand and just drop in and get to work. There's 10 lines of in-app code. That's all there is. And there's a sandbox on the site, so you can kind of play around with the code, see how easy it is, and then get started. Braintree gives you an easy way to accept multiple payment types with one integration. Integrating it into your app is as easy as inserting a few lines of code. That's it. Try out the sandbox that I was talking about. See for yourself. Just go to braintreepayments.com/Android and get some mobile payments into your app experience. Hey, it's money. We all want a little extra money, right? So integrate it with Braintree. That's braintreepayments.com/Android. We thank them for their support. All right, let's talk about some apps. Let's talk about apps, baby.
Let's talk about you and me.
And me.
Let's talk about all the good things that you click on. Apps, baby.
Only had to kick off that one. Rob flew with it.
Wow.
Who knew? Who knew that early 90s?
I know. That girl is poison.
That app is poison.
Sorry.
It's got to be app-based. App-based.
That app is poison. All right, Gina, save us.
Wow. Just wow.
Sorry that was your intro. For the...
No, that's okay, I think. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. I don't know how to segue into this, so I'm just going to go right into it. Something about tapping. No. Chrome for Android is updating its data saver feature in an upcoming version. This is rolling out in India and Indonesia right now, so with more countries to follow in the next few months. So the way this works is, I hope you all have data saver on right now in Chrome.
I don't, actually.
I do.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
I've got it on 19% savings. So
Okay, I'm going to activate it right now.
Last S for savings. So this
23%.
new update,
23% on my side.
Nice. So you're doing better than I am. Nice. I have no idea. I think it makes it faster. I don't know. I have the privilege of mostly being on fast connections. But so this new update to the data saver feature is for folks who are often on slow connections. What it's going to do is, if Chrome detects that you're on a slow connection, it will block. It won't load images and videos on the page. It will just load the text and then load these kind of placeholders. And you can tap on one of the placeholders to manually load the image. Or there's going to be like a little, they call it a snack bar. I think it's going to call it a snack bar at the bottom of the page where it says show slow connection detected. And you can tap load images to go ahead and load the images if you do want to see them. So, yeah, and now that I see this, I'm like, yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
If I wanted something to load faster, it sounds like this Chrome does this all on its own, depending on what kind of connection you're on, and it looks like we'll all get this eventually. Really neat. I love to see this kind of common sense stuff. That's like, oh yeah. So often loading a web page on mobile, the whole experience just stinks. Just a simple thing like this. Like, I'm a user, I should be able to decide whether or not I'm going to download your giant retina-sized images, and this will let you do that.
Now we just need to enable deciding whether or not we want to allow the screen takeover ads.
But that's ads. That's different.
And then also we need to figure out a way for Chrome to adjust for the varying as pages load in and all the crap loads in, and when you go to tap on something, and in the time between you put your finger on the screen and when the tap is registered, the page is shifted a 1/4 inch because an ad loaded above the content that you're clicking on, and then you want to throw your phone out the window.
Yeah, that is the worst.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is the worst.
Yeah.
When the X moves, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this will also be good for developers. It will force them to start looking at how they're developing their websites or web services and look at optimizing a bit more. Sometimes content loses its value without the images, and if users are using that data saver because it's more convenient, they might have to relook at what content they're producing.
I've activated Data Saver.
Awesome. Let's
Yes.
We should now do the race to see who saved more data.
Yeah, I'm
winning.
going to save so much data. You have no idea.
I just want to gamify as much of this show as possible and make it as competitive as possible.
All right, everyone, vote for your favorite data.
Whoever is saving more data at the end of the season, we'll figure it all out. No, anyway, that's very cool. Another thing that Google is doing is that they're bringing a little art and culture into our lives. Google's got a new app called Arts and Culture. that taps into Google's Cultural Institute to bring panoramic tours of around 850 museums, sites and landmarks, artwork with the ability to zoom in to find detail, and stories and details about all the exciting stuff at those museums. I've gotten a taste of Google's Cultural Institute thanks to Chromecast's background rotation. They bring in a lot of artwork through that. This is just cool. And if you've got kids, if you're into arts and culture, I don't see why you don't put this on your phone. It's the kind of thing you get lost in. Go to any one of 850 museums. Like, that's just amazing.
That's awesome.
Like, these are the indexing the world's information projects that Google does that we don't even think about. That is just so cool. And yeah, I mean, yes, it's great to be able to go to, MoMA and look at Starry Night in person, but not everybody has that ability to go to New York City and do that. With this now you can. So
there you go. It's a wrapper, by the way, for the site, so it's not like full blown app. I mean, it's an app, cool. But it's a wrapper. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Cool stuff. Yeah. I'll tell you what's not a wrapper. Well, maybe you are a wrapper, but a different type of wrapper. Matteo, you guys redesigned your Skyscanner app. Tell us about that process. Like, it looks great. Yes. Tell us about it.
So, this is the first Android app that's been developed entirely in-house in Skyscanner. So,
nice.
And the last generation of apps, we had 3 separate apps for flights, hotels, and car hire. Each app was developed by a separate partner. And this new app is after the acquisition of one of our partners. It's completely rewritten from scratch with our login functionality, with your watched prices functionality baked in. It's making heavy use of the Android platform system, so it's much more lightweight and faster. We have put in some rich imagery that loads if you have a data connection that allows you to do that. We color code the browsing facility, so the inspiration calendar will be color-coded according to prices. And we offer a new app, which is the sign of things to come. So here you're looking at our new results page, which has some new features, such as the little smiley faces on the left, or frowny faces on the left-hand side, which will give you a qualitative assessment of how useful or how painful that travel can be.
I mean, the price is painful here, but I'm flying to Papeete in the French Polynesian Islands, so I suppose I understand $4,000 for 2 tickets. But you can't do anything about the price, I understand. So
yes, so Skyscanner is a meta search engine. We don't sell tickets directly. We're making searches from airlines, online travel agents, and other ticket providers, putting that information together and presenting it to the user with powerful filters that you're showing off there. So we're essentially giving you the information to make an informed travel decision, so that you can decide how many stops you have, when you set off, when you arrive, how long the flight is, if there's any particular airline you want to filter in or out of the search. So that's our new flights app, which is something that we've been working on for a while. There's been a lot of dog fooding. We took a lot of feedback both internally and from users. From a test point of view, it's been very interesting for us because we used the new Google Play facility of a phased rollout. So rather than releasing globally to everyone when we thought it was ready, we gradually started with 10% of the market. We then scaled up to 25%, took some feedback, updated, and then went through this phased rollout through Google Play, which has been very, very useful to us to get feedback during the release process.
Nice.
So we've leveraged the Android platform as a whole, and we've made use of the Google Play store release process. This is your login. On Android, we offer Facebook and Google Plus login, so you can sync your searches between the web, so whether it's on mobile, tablet, or desktop, your recent searches will show up on all your devices.
Hey, Matteo, does it show every airline, or are there some airlines that aren't in the app?
It depends on the market you're in and what commercial agreements we have. So that's ultimately down to the airlines we deal with. I'm not entirely sure which ones are on and off,
Right.
but I know that there are some airlines who blankly refuse to be involved.
Yeah, that's been my experience with these types of apps and search things and stuff like that. Like, I've been using Google Flights for a while, and I've got to just go to to another provider's website to see, because they're not included in the results. And I imagine, I was curious if you guys got around that or not. So.
No, we try to work as closely as possible with all people we index and who go into our meta search. So if they really don't want to be on there, we will do our best to respect that. But sometimes they may not want to have us directly on there, but they then have an agreement with an online travel agent who is with us. So you'll still be able to get some of those airlines.
Cool.
But for all the major airlines, it's there. And we also now have something called facilitated booking, where we've optimized the purchase experience on the web. So with certain online travel agents and airlines now, you can book through a Skyscanner experience through another ticket seller, but we've helped them improve the online purchase experience on mobile, especially.
Excellent.
So,
good stuff.
Yeah, you guys are doing a
That's
great
it.
job with the app. Excellent.
as I said,
Nice.
it's the sign of things to come. It's a lightweight app. We've optimized it for efficiency.
Efficiency is good.
Yes, it is. That's
Speaking of
Skyscanner.
efficiency.
Yes, let's get efficient in our sponsor read. We're normally pretty efficient.
Our last sponsor of the
pretty
day.
easy to do, actually, when you are a subscriber of lynda.com, because Lynda probably has courses on efficiency.
They do. I think.
I'm pretty positive of that. Lynda is for problem solvers, people who are curious, want to grow a skill, learn a skill, get better at that thing that you love to do in your spare time, or get better at that thing that you have to do because it's part of your job. If you want to take better pictures, learn how to develop an app, master Photoshop, all that kind of stuff. Lynda.com has everything you need to feed your curious mind. If you're looking to strengthen your business skills, you can check out the latest courses on lynda.com. New courses like Process Improvement Fundamentals. There's Excel tips up and running with Word 2016, Sales Secrets for small businesses. There's also a weekly series on communication tips, which basically allows you to hone your communication skills in order to deal with difficult people or influence people or confidently speak in public at the drop of a hat. I've watched many courses on Adobe Premiere, on music production, on soundproofing, on all sorts of stuff. And it's easy to get pulled into all sorts of directions when you're browsing through the lynda.com library because there's just so many videos there. So you're browsing and suddenly something catches your eye and you find yourself kind of going down the path of learning this new thing. You didn't even intend for that. You tended to look for something else. It's like drive-by learning. Watch and learn from top experts. They're passionate about teaching. They're at the top of their field. You can stream thousands of video courses on demand, learn on your own schedule. Courses are actually structured so you can watch them from start to finish. Or if you want, you can jump right in and get a little piece here and there and learn nuggets of information as you go along. You can browse the course transcripts for all the videos. Those are actually clickable. So you click a part of the transcript, that's going to take you to that part of the course that you're watching. Really easy to kind of, read through and be like, that's the thing that I need to, see what they're doing or whatever, and jump right to it. You can take notes as you go, refer to those later. You can download tutorials and project files, and you can watch this on the go. That includes Android and iOS devices. So you can do it on your mobile device, and create and save playlists of courses that you want to watch, so you can kind of hop in at any time and customize your learning path. Share those videos with your friends, with your colleagues, and all sorts of other stuff. Your lynda.com membership gives you unlimited access to training on hundreds of topics, all for one flat rate. Whether you're looking to become an expert, you're passionate about a hobby, you just want to learn something new, you should definitely visit lynda.com/allaboutandroid. You can sign up for a free 10-day trial. Free, 10 days. Just watch as many videos as you can. Don't go to sleep for 10 days. Just watch videos, get smarter, and then sleep. Sleeping is for wimps. That's lynda.com/allaboutandroid. We thank them for their support, their continued support of this show. All right, it's time. It's time to battle. It's time for the arena. Oh, yeah.
So many enter, but only one lives. Android Arena.
So, I don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But when I looked at the poll a couple of days ago, I resigned myself to yet another defeat.
Oh.
Did
it change?
I was going to defer to the wonderful Macro Droid app. It's a great app, and sure enough, I look at today's poll, or last week's poll, and somehow I squeaked by with a victory.
You did.
Dashboard
By a
Cast.
mere 2% win.
Shocking.
At 44% for Dashboard Cast.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very
Nice.
good. Well deserved. Well deserved. It's a good app.
It was a good app. It's a cool app. Yeah. So
Second place is Flow with Macro Droid at 42%. I got third place with one. I kind of expected that one wasn't going to be a high performer. 11%. And then one bus away, Andrew Martinick's app, which is kind of
very specific.
Anytime you bring in an app that's specific to a certain area,
right,
you're going to have a hard time. Still a great app. 3% of you thought it was the best app. So there you go.
So that puts us as we're getting to the end of the line here, folks. Through week 47, Jason is still in the lead with 16 wins.
You've closed
sneaking
the
up
gap a little bit.
with 15 wins. Guests are in third with 11 wins, and Flo has got 5 wins. And that means that we have I got to look at the schedule. We only have 3 more shows, only 3 to go. So Jason's magic number still remains 2, I believe. Or is it 1? I don't know what the magic number is
I don't know how
anymore.
it goes. That's math, and
But anyway, we're close.
I don't believe
we're
in
down
math
to the wire.
or statistics.
We're down to the wire. Okay, so according to Wade County in the chat room, Jason's magic number is 2. Mine is 3. And Flo and the guests cannot win. Flo and the guests have been eliminated. It's important to note that with that win, I just eliminated the guests.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, Gina. Your team just went down. So
does this mean that if you don't win every week, then I automatically win?
no, because it depends. Because if the guests or Flo spoil,
Oh.
you need 2
Right.
wins.
Yeah, you're right,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah, exactly. So what could happen? There's a whole bunch of different scenarios. I'll be doing a independent podcast later in the week as we do Deconstructing the Arena, my new show. No, I'm kidding. I'm not doing that. We could all tie. I don't know. So it seems like there's chatter in the chat room that's the first to 18 wins is the one who wins. So,
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
We'll see. No pressure, buddy. None whatsoever.
I'm just going to keep doing what I do.
Well, I'm going to go last because I won. So
you just take a break. I'm going to do my app and then show off their apps.
Yeah.
You're going to have a cool 3 minutes to rest as we show off 3 apps.
All right.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe a little bit longer than that. All right. So let's see here. My app jumped out at me, and I was like, yeah. So here's the problem. I'll just do a little setup here. You like widgets. You think widgets are cool, but you don't want widgets on your home screen, let's say. They litter the place, and they take up valuable space from other things, and you just don't want to do that. But you like them. You don't want them to feel bad, so you want to use them. What if I showed you my screen, Brian, and then I showed you that by going up over there,
Whoa,
I
what
have
is that?
my widgets. Here, I'll go ahead and do that again. Nope, it's just my notifications. What if I do it over here?
Whoa.
Oh yeah, it's my widgets. No big deal. I can scroll them with 2-finger scrolling. In that one, I can use the widgets as I could normally if they were on my home screen. Then when I'm done, just swipe them away. This is a Snap widget drawer. We'll go ahead and go into the settings so you can see the portion of the screen that I have set to pull down the widget drawer, essentially. There we go. And these are all the widgets that I can assign there. And, really you can assign any widget that, any app that's on your device that has a widget assignable. You can go ahead and throw that up there. When you do, let's see, what's a good one to do? Here, I'll do this. When you do, it'll ask you how you want to fit it in. It kind of gives you the option that it thinks is best for that widget. But if you want to, get playful with it, you can kind of change the size of it and everything. I'll go ahead and hit save. And what do you know? There it is. Maybe not the best widget for this particular thing because I don't like the flat tire at the top and the bottom personally. That's just a personal preference, but there you go. So, and basically what it's doing is you can set this in the app. You can set a portion of your notification shade to be, to basically detect that what you're trying to get at is your widget drawer, and that will then, going forward, be your widget action versus over here in the middle where I get my notifications. Over here, I get my widgets. And like I said, double finger to scroll. So if something rolls off the screen, you still have access to it. It is free. Well, with the free version, you get 3 total widgets in your drawer. If you want more than that, there's an in-app purchase for $1.85, not very much, and then you have access to as many widgets as you want in that screen. Snap Widget Drawer. Check it out. And widgetify
your notification drawer.
Widgetify your notifications drawer. And actually, that's even misleading because you're not doing anything to your notification drawer.
Right.
This is another layer entirely, based on the area of your screen that you're pulling it down. So there we go. Ron, you are last.
I am last because I won last week.
Okay. This next app I don't know. Some people may have guessed this, but Mateo, show us what random thing out of nowhere that you've brought to the arena that no one could have guessed.
I wonder if there's a theme here. Anyway, I'm going to do my best and hopefully win it for Team G&G. That's guests and Gina. It's a game that starts with a G. Goat Simulator MMO. So... listeners or viewers who watched the episode where I was in studio in Petaluma will remember that I demoed the original Goat Simulator shortly after it was released for Android, and it won the Android App Arena that week. This is Goat Simulator in the massively multiplayer online version.
Oh my gosh.
Even though it has MMO in the name, it's not really a massively multiplayer online game. Everything is simulated.
Oh.
So when you're walking around, you'll notice there are characters who will speak to you. That's all automated. There are other goats which look as if they're user controlled. They're not. That's all simulated. And as well as the usual wonders of Goat Simulator, you get to complete challenges and upskill your character all the way to level 101.
So it's like World of Goatcraft.
Exactly, and you can choose between different classes of goats. Jason, at the top in the middle, you have a button to select different goats. Top left. Next button, you've got that one. And you should be able to change goat class. So you can be a magician, you can be a tank.
Oh my god.
But more interestingly, I don't know where the microwave came from. You can select the microwave character, which is a set of legs with a microwave. And instead of having it...
What the heck is this? Why is it a set of legs with a microwave? That makes no sense.
Oh, I made it to the adventurer's path. So what about this scrolling chat at the bottom? Is that all
simulated?
Well, it's all simulated. It's actually hilarious because there's a lot of development jokes going on in there, and some of it makes little or no sense. So this is the next move of Goat Simulator. What more could you want? Medieval themed Goat Simulator with different classes of characters leveling up. It doesn't seem to have any zombies in it. I haven't bumped into them, but it's full of bugs, just like the previous versions of Goat Simulator for Android. And we wouldn't want it any other way, would we? And what bugs, features? Oh, look, you've just gone into the Sky universe.
Oh, okay, good. I meant to do that.
When I think about the amount of development time, it says even though it's got bugs, but a significant portion of time must have went into making this. And you think about what could have been done with that time, what they could have added to society. But no, we have a goat MMO simulator. It's not even. It's just a simulator of an MMO.
With interactions, and yes, it's wonderful, and it just shows you how awesome Android is now, that it can run something that you had to have a dedicated gaming PC to do a few years ago.
And by the way, I'm running this on an Nexus 5, so it's doing all right on a Nexus 5.
Not too bad.
Yeah, it's true.
Your phone may get a bit warm whilst playing it, but
that's just the goat from the goat running around. That's where the warmth comes from. It's not from the processing.
I was playing it on the Xiaomi Redmi Note 2. It runs great on that. Less than $200 phone, so it's a great pastime. There are lots of challenges. There are things you need to find throughout the game to win challenges. Goat statues from previous versions are here as well, and it's just a fantastic game.
I could see myself getting lost for literally days and days playing this game.
Until you bump into another simulated player goat.
Yeah.
There you are. Characters who you can speak to and interact with.
Or NPCs.
Or headbutt.
Or headbutt.
Goat Simulator MMO.
Wow.
Now, it was free for me to download. Is it a paid app?
Right, that's an interesting thing. So in the UK, this a paid app. Whereas I'm seeing that you have $4.99.
Oh, no, Brian's okay. Maybe I paid for it and didn't realize it when I was.
That's $5 you spent all day, isn't it?
Look, I bought a lot of deals the past couple of days. They all kind of blur together. Apparently I bought Goat Simulator MMO.
There you go.
I didn't realize.
Listen, it was a crazy Black Friday weekend. I bought a Goat Simulator MMO.
Yeah, this is when I woke up and asked myself, what have I done?
Jeez.
Excellent. Goat Simulator MMO.
You see, I would be feeling worse about it if it didn't have the microwave legs. That's really what made it for me. The microwave legs. I didn't realize in life I needed a anthropomorphized microwave.
It took it to the next level.
It really did. It really did. Let's see what Gina does to match that.
Yeah. What do you have, Gina?
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe Goat Simulator should represent Team G&G.
Yeah.
All right, I got something. There's this movie coming out. I don't know if you guys have heard about this movie. It's some kind of popular. People are looking forward to it. I don't know.
Is it that little that low budget indie film?
That little indie concern.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna be only at select theater. Yeah, I don't know. So my pick tonight is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. This is a role-playing game, a new release from Electronic Arts, which is clearly teasing The Force Awakens, which comes out, and it's like a couple of weeks now. Jason, I know at least you have your tickets.
I have tickets. I have tickets for December 17th.
Both of you have tickets.
Hang on, before we proceed, are there any spoilers in this game? Because if so, I'm going to have to get up and walk away.
No, the game is inspired by The Force Awakens. There are some characters in The Force Awakens. There are no spoilers as far as I could tell.
I feel like everyone's definition of spoil, like I don't want to know any character. All right, this is a whole nother.
You don't want to know any characters?
I don't want to know anything. I don't want to know anything. I don't want to know anything.
Yeah,
the
earmuffs, Ron.
Earmuffs.
Twitter emoji at this point. Yeah, see, I
do
was
your email or something. Do your Pop 3 email over there or something.
Yeah, download your email, Ron.
Okay.
Pop 3 and SMTP. Make it so. Oh, sorry, wrong franchise.
My favorite bounty hunter is Pop 3. Sorry.
Pop
Right,
3. There you go. So I should qualify this. I am probably the most casual Star Wars fan in this show at the moment, and maybe probably the most casual gamer as well. So this game is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's set in the Star Wars universe. It's a role-playing game. You get to pick characters and you battle. You do light battles and dark battles, and there's, different weapons and, superpowers, and it looks exactly the way it looks right now with Jason playing. It's free to download with in-app purchase. There's quite a bit of free play. available. Although I did see some people in the reviews saying, hey, I played this to the point where I either had to pay up or wait till tomorrow. There you go.
Yes.
Nice job. Victory.
Progress.
Victory. And look, I'll be honest with you. It's not the most exciting game I've ever played, but I really enjoy being in the universe and hearing the music and seeing the characters. So if that sort of thing is the thing that'll get you to December 17th or the 18th, this is the game for you. Galaxy of Heroes. There you go. There you go. There you go.
You know it. I'm going to lightsaber.
Yeah, do your Jedi. Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to blast.
Nice.
And then I'm going to blast some more. I'm going to win.
Yes, you are going to win. You are a winner.
Final
encounter.
The Force is strong with this one.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
I've heard that before. I've been told that many times. Cool. This is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And
yeah, you get to choose your characters, make your team, you get to train them up. Like I said, I think it's a fun little teaser for the movie, if you're into that sort of thing. And also I had that moment playing this game where I'm like, oh, I can't believe what is possible on a phone with these games now. Similar to what we're saying with Goat Simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Get that. Yeah. Yeah.
Take out the supporting cast before I take out the lead role.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
All right. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, free to get started. You could probably play this game without spending money. It's an Electronic Arts game, and their mobile games are much like that.
There are daily battles that are free to do. You do hit a wall where it'll ask, it'll prompt you to buy stuff. But there's plenty of play before that happens. So
cool.
Look, Ewoks, come on.
All right. I watched Star Wars with my girls for the first time a couple of nights ago. Yep. And ever since then, my 2-year-old is obsessed with the dog.
Chewbacca.
Oh,
there it goes. We went to, when I was in New York, we went to the Smithsonian Star Wars costumes exhibit that's in the Discovery Theater in Times Square.
Oh, neat.
And then went home and watched Empire Strikes Back. So it's getting to be that time of year.
Yes, it is.
Star Wars time of year.
All right, you survived without any spoilers, I think.
I did survive without any spoilers, luckily. Okay. It's very hard to live my life. Okay, so I did not plan for Mateo or Gina's apps when I decided to do this app in the arena, but it's quite apropos. My app is called, let me pull up the name of the app. It is called App Block. And what it does is it's very similar to, I believe actually the full name of the app is App Block Stay Focused. And it is one of these applications that allows you to identify certain applications and certain times a day and basically block your access to them. So this kind of application exists on desktops. I know a lot of friends of mine who are writers and other folks who've got to hit deadlines and things like that. What they'll do is they'll set up kind of web browsing blockers or Facebook blocker or Twitter blocker or whatever, but the analog hole still exists, in that even if your desktop is blocking Twitter, you can just go to your phone and go look at it. Mm-hmm. So if you really need to focus and you really need to stay focused, you can use App Block to help you be productive. What you can do is you can set up different kind of recipes. It comes standard with working days and weekend, which I thought was interesting, in that during working days it's blocking Facebook, Google Play TV and movies, YouTube and Twitter. And on weekends, it's blocking Google Drive, Google Analytics, and Gmail. I was like, oh, I could subscribe to both of those things. But what you can easily do is you can just create a new profile. And so I'll just say Ron, And within this profile, you can say what days of the week you need to do. So let's say on Tuesdays, I really need to focus on the All About Android rundown. So I need to block stuff. You can add the times. And so what you got is a little, the clock, rotating clock. We've got 24-hour clock. The inner circle is 12 hours, the first 12 hours. The outer circle is the second 12 hours. So I can say from 8 a.m. Until, let's go till 1900 hours. All right, so that's a nice block. When it's blocked, you can choose, do you want to block application launches or app notifications or both? Now, in order to do this, what you need to do, if we go to settings, it's an important thing to note, and it gives you pop-ups during the application when you first install it. You need to set notification access in your app settings. So what you do is you go through here and it takes you into the settings, and you can say, okay, turn on App Block for notification access, and then you set application access as well, and you've got to turn on apps with usage access and choose app block within there. And there it is right there. And so the setup is pretty easy. It guides you right through it, no problem. But then what happens is that when you set up a recipe, so this one is already set up, I'm blocking application launch and app notifications, and I'm blocking these apps. All right, so if I can go back and I'm going to turn this one on. So now that this is on, if I try to go to YouTube, let's go to YouTube. All right. I will get a little notification that the app is blocked until 2300 and close. I cannot use it. I try to use Facebook. It's blocked until 2300. And it actually tells me, it says, don't waste your time, be productive. You've already tried to open it 3 times today and 3 times in total. So it tells you how often you need to look into it.
Dude, what are you doing
right
now?
Yeah, exactly. So now there is a hole in this app in that I could just go back into app block and turn that off, but let's have a little discipline here. What you can also do, there is a PIN code that you can protect app block being launched. It requires a PIN code to open this app itself, so that I couldn't take Jason's phone and turn on app block and walk away.
What you do is, if you want to be super productive,
you block app block.
No, you tell somebody that you trust to enter a PIN code.
That's a good idea.
And then you enter in the mode, and then you have to check with them in order to bypass.
That's a very good idea. That's a very, very good idea.
Although, be careful.
So now it's free to download, but there is a pro version with an in-app purchase that you're limited to only 5 apps per recipe. But if you purchase, and it's only for $1.50, if you unlock the pro version, you remove any ads, although I didn't see any ads yet. Maybe they're going to add ads down the road. But you can have unlimited applications, and they've actually Chinese menued them. So if you, let's say, I don't care about ads, you can leave them in, but I only want to unlock unlimited applications, you can pay 99 cents for that. You can have unlimited profiles, unlimited times of profiles, things like that, or you can get everything for $1.50.
I'm seeing this a lot more, actually, as I'm playing around with more apps and stuff. Seeing like, you don't want this stuff, or we want these extra features, you want those extra features, or just get them all.
Yeah. So
you can piece it together.
And we're getting questions in the chat room as to whether or not you can add app block as an app, and yes, you can. So there it is. So in this recipe, I blocked app block. So I will not. I'm going to take that away.
Take that away.
Whew, yeah. So I'm also. It's off. So So stay focused. Get work done. Be productive. App block. Stay focused. It's worth looking into if you're easily distracted. I know for me, Instagram is my go-to. I'm just gonna take a break and go look at pictures, and
then 20 minutes later.
And 20 minutes later, So, So if you need a little help, having a little self-discipline, app block is a great way to go. I know I've heard many success stories about these type of apps on desktops, and it's cool to see it branch out onto the mobile device. So there you go. I know it's a bit of a downer, but
great. Thanks.
Sometimes it's good to be efficient.
Tell me I can't use my phone the way I want to.
All right, AAApoll.com/242. If you want to vote and let us know which is your favorite, we'll check in next week. We're getting down to the wire, so your vote counts. Just as much as it ever did, but
it counts even more now.
Even more now, I suppose, from the weight of the decision. Is it Snap Widget Drawer? Is it Goat Simulator MMO? Is it Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes? Or App Block? Vote. AAApoll.com/242. And that is it. We are done.
All right.
Don't stick a fork in us because that would hurt.
That would.
But, Matteo Doni, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for staying up so late to do this. It's now, 3:30 or something? Almost.
It's just after 3 a.m. in the morning, but thanks for having me. I always enjoy being here. I had my little green buddy here with me.
Yeah,
so
I'm surprised you didn't snuggle up and just fall asleep on the little green buddy, to be honest.
No, I'm joking. I'm fine. I really enjoyed being on the show. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
And hopefully next time I'll be in the studio.
Excellent. Yes, when you're in town, let me know. We'll get you in here. Cool. And that is coolsmartphone.com for all the stuff you're writing, and you're at Todolio on Twitter.
Indeed I am. You can also follow me on ThinkUp, todoleo.thinkup.com, and get some insights on not only Twitter, but also my Instagram. So just an extra plug for Gina's excellent service, which I'm a very happy customer of.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
It is fantastic, Gina. So tell everybody about ThinkUp.
Yes, please.
Yeah, if you use Facebook or Twitter or Instagram in any way, you should go to thinkup.com and sign up for a free trial. We just started doing our best of 2015 insights. So you can find out what were your most liked tweets of the whole year, how often, what words did you use the most, who were your biggest fans. You sign up now. It's free 14-day trial. Check it out. And best of 2015, you can see if you want to see Ron XO's best of 2015 or Jason's, you can see their ThinkUps as well. Ron's, yours are great. ronxo.thinkup.com/2015. You can see the best Instagrams, best Facebook status updates, best tweets. Oh,
That's because I typed in the URL wrong. Don't worry.
That's all right. But yeah, that's our big thing, and we're doing a brand new end of year insight every single day. So I've got my work cut out for me. I'm like scrambling every day this month of December. It's kind of like a little advent calendar of fun insights. So yeah, check that out. Thinkup.com. That's all I'm working on this month. So thanks for letting me plug, and thank you, Mateo, for being such a big supporter of all my stuff. I appreciate that.
I like that one of my most liked tweets of 2015 was about adjusting my running route to stop at Safeway to buy bacon. So,
it's interesting which ones get picked.
The little things. So I'm a little disappointed in 2015. I didn't make the Think Up homepage, but I'm excited for 2016.
Keep trying, Ron.
I got my eye on Stacey London's Twitter box. I got my eye on it, Gina. I'm hoping. So, go to ronxo.thinkup.com and see all my fun stuff. Or if you want to follow along with me, you can go to about.me/ronxo, where you can find links to Google Plus and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all that fun stuff. And a couple weeks ago, I asked you guys, the audience, for some folks who are into electrical engineering and stuff like that. A whole bunch of you got in touch with me. Thank you very much. I'm going to be getting back to everybody. The holidays delayed me, but I'm going to be getting back to everybody this week about a neat little project I'm working on for next year. And until then, go to ifanboy.com and listen to my podcast about comics, and go to goodfellasminute.com and listen to my podcast about Goodfellas. And you're doing your holiday shopping, go to getdrop.com and find a neat little kitchen scale that you can get for your favorite cook in your life as I continue to working there, and some cool, exciting Android stuff for that company next year. So we're excited for that.
Any other URLs that you'd like to
I think that's it. Yeah. Also, one I've been working on called google.com. No.
It's this little search company.
We got a little project going on.
Apparently, in the month of November, my most said word on Twitter was now.
Wow.
So now, Brian,
Now
what
my
are you
turn?
up to right now?
Right now I'm doing this show.
Right now. Yeah, that makes sense.
Pushing the buttons, but when I'm not doing that, I'm hosting a show with Padre called Know How. We're hoping. We're going to focus on some holiday projects, probably automating your Christmas tree lights so that they flicker to music, stuff like that. So definitely, if you get a chance, check that out. And you can also follow me at cranky_hippo on Twitter.
I'm happy we finally have you back in the witness protection program.
I'm back in the darkness.
Yeah, good. You've been a little too bright the last couple of weeks. That's all I'm saying.
I know. I'm trying to dim myself down.
Good. You can find me at about.me/Jason Howell. I forgot which camera was mine there for a second. About.me/Jason Howell. Music at yellowgoldmusic.com. You can help me out because I've got a lot of work to do that I still have to get started, which I'm kind of fearing at this point, for best of episodes for the end of the year. Me and other editors and producers need your help. twit.tv/best of. If there are any moments throughout the year that particularly ring out as awesome moments that you want to see in a best of episode for any of our shows, let us know. twit.tv/best of. That'll make our job a little bit easier. Not like super amount easier because we still have to pull all those clips, but finding them is half the battle. So thank you for that.
That's why I'm in the darkness, Jason. Because hide the tears.
Yes. If only I had that ability. Or just wipe them away, pretend they never happened.
But we do it for the fans.
That's right. We do it for you.
Things we do.
That's right.
I don't do anything. But
yeah, the things they do is what Ron meant to say.
I appreciate you just as much.
That's it for this week. Leave us a voicemail, 347-SHOW-AAA. And I promise to remember.
Sorry, I thought I had the ending. I'm kind of sick too, is why I don't have the camera.
You don't need to explain because I was just about to say leave us a voicemail, and I think I'll try to remember to check it because I asked for voicemails and then I forget to check.
Rim shot.
So maybe you did.
I got it right. Okay, I'm going to play the theme song now.
Okay, good. Go ahead and play. Hey, there we go. I hear it. Okay, voicemail 347-SHOW-AAA. Send us an email or video mail at AAA@twit.tv. We are at Android Show on Twitter. You can hit us up there. We are All About Android on Google+. We have a community there. Just search for All About Android. You'll find us. On Reddit, we are twitaaa.reddit.com. Oh, there's got to be more places to find us, right? twit.tv/AAA is our show page. All of our episodes are there. And you can catch us live every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, live.twit.tv. That is it for this week. We'll see you next week on another episode of All About Android. Bye.